This is TWiT.
Microsoft President Brad Smith was in Brussels last week to defend his company's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And I've sort of made points along these lines in the past, but I just want to drive home this notion that I'm getting tired of this argument. There's absolutely no valid reason for Microsoft not to be able to make this transaction. I'm really getting impatient, not impatient. I'm getting aggravated by the arguments otherwise, because they really just kind of boil down to, I just don't want them to have it. And it's like, yeah, that's cute. That's not how the world works. But I'm also vaguely
Actually, this is how the world works. I'm sorry to say, this is exactly how the world works, and that's what's frustrating.
Yes. Okay. But here's the thing. The only major complaint about this is coming from Sony, which is a Japanese-based consumer electronics giant. And the regulatory bodies that are questioning this acquisition are in Europe and the United States, and their jobs are to protect consumers or businesses in competition in their jurisdictions, not to protect Sony, and Sony, the company that's already doing that thing that they're worried that Microsoft will do, and Microsoft only has to agree not to do that thing, which is, make everything exclusive to Xbox, which they've already said they will. I just don't understand what the problem is, using the FTC's definition of what a console is. Microsoft came up with this figure where Sony owns 80% of the market, according to the FTC. I'm sorry, was it the FTC? And globally, it's about a 70-30 split, and that leaves out Nintendo because the FTC only considers PlayStation and Xbox to be direct competitors.
Sony is fairly evil, I think. I really do.
They're incredibly evil. Yep. I'm getting tired of this. And so many people come back to me every time there's anyone says, oh, I don't know about this. So the UK comes out and says, oh, maybe you get rid of Call of Duty and it will be okay. People are like, huh? See, it's over. This is the end of it, right? And it's like, you know what? No, I don't think it is. I think the only thing that could stop this from happening now is Microsoft saying, we've had enough of this. I think Microsoft is going to be the one that screws it up, because otherwise what they're going to do is just make the agreements they need to do, and this thing's going to go through.
Nobody's saying no. They're just humming and hawing, right? Like, to me, this seems like political hay.
This is the political version of the TSA. Let's just make it look like we're doing something, you know? And I'm just
giants
tired
are
of it.
bad right now, so it's a good time to be hard on tech giants.
It's antitrust theater?
Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. Yep. It's antitrust theater. And, we'll see. The funny thing that came out, so Microsoft, of course, has to make itself look bad for this to make sense, right? So they have to give you all these figures where the Xbox looks like it's terrible. And so some of the numbers they gave were just priceless. Depending on how, the companies that are ahead of Microsoft in the video game business include such companies as Nintendo and Sony, Apple and Google, Tencent, right? Microsoft is in 6th place, according to Microsoft, not even close. And if this acquisition goes through by revenue, they will be, wait for it, in 6th place. This doesn't even move them up the chart. That it will give them that inroad they want in mobile gaming, which is huge. It will also nicely pad out their cloud gaming stuff, especially, but I should say their subscription gaming service, especially, right? Because most of this stuff is not going to be streamed. I don't think we're going to be streaming Call of Duty anytime soon. That's just not going to work. But making it available via Xbox Game Pass to those customers will be huge for Microsoft, and will expand the availability of those games.
Yeah, World of Warcraft, right? I mean, that's a subscription model.
Yep.
One of the big subscription title, long-term running.
But the central argument, it bugs me that we even have to make this have this conversation. So Brad Smith says, Sony supposedly is worried that Microsoft's going to take Call of Duty exclusive, even though Microsoft said, here's the agreement. We'll do it for 10 years. We're not taking it away. We'll put it on your cloud streaming service. How does that sound? Nothing. Sony doesn't even respond to this. And as Microsoft has said repeatedly, and Brad Smith said this past week, taking Call of Duty away from its most popular platform is not a great way to turn a $69 billion asset into something that we want to be more valuable over time. Right. What? There's no version of this story where taking this away from Sony makes any sense. Because they don't take it away from Sony. They take it away from those customers that are on Sony.
Right.
Anyway.
The question is, how many people would buy Xboxes to play Call of Duty? And I think I think it's flown. It's going to be a new title, not a next.
None, because Call of Duty isn't better on the Xbox than it is on PlayStation. There's no reason to go that route. Now, could that change in the future? I don't know. Yeah, could cars fly in the future? Could yeah, I guess so. But that's the thing. Like, we can look at what Sony has done. We can look at what Microsoft says, and we'll be legally bound to. And then we can have dreams about the future that are just based on whatever. And there's no rational excuse for saying no to this. And I'm freaking tired of it.
And it's still going. Still going with no.
Oh yeah, it's going to keep.
No sign of ending.
Nope.
So the U.S. antitrust stuff will get heard in August by a
unless they were able to
judge.
settle it before then, right? Because that's one of the things that could happen.
What's the time frame on the EU?
It's pretty soon. I think it's April.
Okay. Yeah. So this will resolve.
And there's the UK, right? We have to deal with those non-EU idiots to make themselves a separate thing for some reason. Oh boy, hold on.
Isn't there an argument though that if those three big jurisdictions all have a problem with this, that maybe there is a problem? Why are they all involved?
But they're not saying we don't want to do this. They're just humming and hawing, right? Like if there was a problem,
saying we got to look at
outline the problem.
Right.
They're saying, look,
well,
we're taking a stand on big tech.
Yeah,
that's what people wanted.
FTC says there's a problem. I don't know about the EU and England.
The FTC communications on this topic look like they were written by Sony, and I have a huge problem with this. This is in fact my central problem. I just don't get it. I don't understand what they're protecting. It just doesn't make any sense. If this was Microsoft coming out and saying, "Look, we're going to do exactly what Sony did," screw them. The US FTC should be like, "Good for you, good, you do that."
That's what protecting market.
Yeah, they've been screwing over the marketplace for years and years. You do that.
Yeah. Well, get ready because I think Congress is going to ban TikTok, which is yet another.
Oh, they are
ridiculous overreach.
Sure, they're not alone though. By the way, the EU is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Xenophobia is the best, Leo. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I think it's a distraction from real privacy violations by American firms as much as by Chinese firms. I mean, do something about data brokers. How about that?
Yeah, that's right.
Not TikTok. This seems to be a proxy war.
We've
we
allowed
like
Facebook to do what it's done, but for some reason, TikTok is the problem.
Yeah, right.
like seriously, seriously.
I think America is a warlike nation, and we're proxy war with Russia right now in Ukraine, spending huge amounts of money on that.
We're passive aggressive, is what we are.
Yeah, it's just kind of
we don't actually go after them directly.
We don't. Yeah, not blood, just treasure. Thank you.
It's like when Apple declared total war on Android and then sued Samsung. Like, wait, what? Like, didn't sue Google,
right.
The company that copied them. Well, I mean, Samsung did too, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club TWiT. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club TWiT Discord, a great clubhouse for TWiT listeners. And finally, the TWiT Plus feed with shows like Stacy's Book Club, The Untitled Linux Show, The Giz Fizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support.